Hello, this is Zahir Alum. Welcome you all on Frankly Speaking. My guest today is Ambassador of Switzerland to Bangladesh, Mr. Christian Pothe. Christian Pothe have been working in Bangladesh from 2014, and Bangladesh is one of the priority countries for Switzerland in terms of development cooperation, and Switzerland is working actively in the fields of many fields virtually, namely in poverty reduction, local governance, improving climate change, and disaster prevention efforts, and management also. Swiss government have been working with Bangladesh very actively. So we welcome Ambassador Christian Pothe on Frankly Speaking to discuss about the state of our bilateral relations. So we welcome Christian Pothe, Ambassador of Switzerland to Bangladesh.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you for the invitation.
I know that you have a very checkered diplomatic career. You worked in many capacities in different countries. You worked in Slovakia as Ambassador of Switzerland, and you have been working in Bangladesh from 2014 since February 2014. So you have already worked for 2 years in Bangladesh. So tell me briefly about your working experience so far in Bangladesh related to improving relations with Switzerland and Bangladesh.
I would like to start with my personal impression about Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I felt when I arrived immediately welcome by Bangladesh, by the government and by the people of Bangladesh. A very hearty welcome, and this was a good experience. I traveled a lot throughout the country. I was in Sylhet, I was 2 times in the Sundarban, I traveled to Rajshahi, Cox's Bazar, Chittagong, and everywhere is the same, very friendly, very open, very direct people. So this was really a very good start I had in Bangladesh.
So what are the main issues you are dealing with when you are trying to improve relations between the two countries?
Switzerland and Bangladesh have a long history. Switzerland was one of the first countries to recognize Bangladesh in 1972.
Right.
The relations started in the humanitarian field. It developed to development cooperation. And now my focus is to enhance economic relations, trade and investment, as well as the political relations.
So in terms of economic relations, what are the areas you are trying to focus on?
Swiss companies are very present, the big Swiss companies in the field of construction, pharmaceutical, machinery. What I would like to achieve is to bring small and medium enterprises also to Bangladesh.
Okay.
Your country is not known enough for its potential among these SME, how we call it, small and medium enterprises, and I see a huge potential there. Here we find skillful labor, we find the necessary resources, we find the interesting wages, we find a huge public which is interested in Swiss products. So for small and medium enterprises, I see definitely a big potential.
Have you been successfully able to inspire the investors in Switzerland to coming up to Bangladesh and invest incrementally, seizing or exploiting the potentials or the incentives Bangladesh government or the environment is offering to the investors from the Switzerland?
We do regularly trade fairs. I have been successful so far punctually, but not in a scale I would like to. We brought I give you one example, we brought one IT company here. They are developing software solutions for Switzerland for community level, so for the public hand. They do very successfully. They have over 150 employees now in Bangladesh, but more could be done in this field.
So, in terms of your development cooperation, we know that also you have been very significantly offering support, extending your cooperation in many fields. So, in very brief, what are the major areas of development cooperation?
You mentioned already in the welcome briefly, it is a local governance, market development and skills development. We have a budget of about $25 million per year. We spend here, Switzerland spends here. Now we are developing a new strategy. According to the 2030 agenda, which was adopted in New York in the UN last year, we go more for public-private partnership. The new agenda is involving more Bangladesh.
Public-private partnership for which area?
For development cooperation. So
Okay.
it means that it's, development cooperation should not only be from government to government or from government agency to government agency, but also involve more the private sector.
Can you give an example of PPP in development sector?
Very concretely, we are exploring the idea now that a company which is in the field of energy, a Swiss company, should also get involved in a project for skills development in Bangladesh. So this project would involve the government of Bangladesh, Switzerland.
Skill development for which section of the people?
Mainly of people active in the construction and in the energy sector. So this would involve this company as a private sponsor, the government of Bangladesh, Switzerland, and also the ADB, Asian Development Bank.
So when you have taken up the project of developing skills of human resources in Bangladesh, what were in your mind, I mean, behind of your formulating the strategy of developing skill for Bangladeshi people?
Skills is the big issue to further develop Bangladesh. As you see, all the jobs worldwide, they get more and more qualified. So if we are able in a joint effort to enhance the level of the skills in Bangladesh, I'm sure this would contribute enormously to the development of Bangladesh. Concretely, I think about the IT sector. There the skills could be enhanced. Production sector, be it in the leather industry or in the garment industry. Bangladesh could produce higher quality garments which would create additional revenues.
We have already started reaping benefits out of the developing skill programs, right?
Right, that's right. I think also about the energy sector, clean tech, maybe solar energy, environment-friendly energy. The whole environment issue is coming up, and all this needs qualified jobs. So there I see a big potential.
Do you think it's feasible for Bangladesh to pursue the solar energy technology so to overcome the dearth of energy problem?
Of course it is possible. Bangladeshi people are very resilient, very intelligent, very energetic. So I'm sure that they find the qualification to produce additional solar energy also in Bangladesh.
Have you seen a remarkable improvement in this field that Bangladesh have taken?
I saw a lot of improvement generally in the field of environment, in the water management, in the demographic development, and also in the energy level.
Excellency, you were outlining some of your important collaborations, cooperation between the two countries. We know that Bangladesh is a disaster-prone country. Periodically we have been hit by the natural disasters. So is there any program which by which you are dealing with or supporting Bangladesh to improve its capacity in terms of countering disasters?
In the past we have built some cyclone shelters. As you know, just recently a cyclone hit the southern area of Bangladesh. So some shelters are already built. Switzerland is always ready to cooperate in the field of humanitarian disaster in the future. Now in this concrete past cyclone, it was not necessary.
You have a program like disaster risk reduction. What does it mean? I mean, how to reduce the risk of disaster? Through this program or projects, what you are doing?
I would like to mention 3 points. So one is raise awareness to be prepared if a disaster strikes the country. The second is climate change. So we have to fight in a joint effort against the root causes which can create flooding or very strong thunderstorm. And the third one is to fight the consequences of disaster, like shelters or give a livelihood to people after a disaster struck.
Okay, I know that Bangladesh and Switzerland also have periodically been organizing some consultation, foreign office consultation, bilateral consultation, and the first second consultations was held in 2015,
Very
and the
right.
first was in 2013.
That's right.
So, what were the major issues both the countries have discussed during that consultation, and what are the issues that are coming up for the next consultations? Can you shed some light on that point?
One of my goals is to come from development cooperation more to economic relation and political relations.
Okay.
And the consultations you mentioned are more in the field of politics.
Okay.
Here I can emphasize the good cooperation we have in the field of migration.
Yes.
We know that migration is increasingly worldwide a challenge for the international community. And Bangladesh and Switzerland work very closely together in the multilateral field in New York, but also in the bilateral field to tackle the challenges of migration. One concrete initiative I can mention is the Nansen initiative, which was launched by Switzerland and Bangladesh, and which is dealing with human mobility in general.
Okay. So, I mean, the migration problem is being seen as one of the very critical issues nowadays all over the world. So, how do you see this problem? This is that something that is gradually deteriorating, or this something that we can cope with the situation with the present trend of migration of the common people?
Migration was always there since the old ages,
Yeah.
and migration was always in Europe, in America, in Asia, so it's not a new phenomenon. As long as you have different economic levels in different countries, there will be migration. As long as you have disasters, there will be migration. So important is that we work closely together, that we find people who have to migrate and people who stay better in their used environment. And I'm convinced that joint effort will lead to also to solution. It's no solution just to close the borders.
But frankly, we don't see much people being migrated to Switzerland. Is that the reality?
There are not many Bangladeshi migrated to Switzerland, but if you look from Swiss perspective, there is a huge migration to Switzerland. It's over 20% of the 8 million people in Switzerland are foreigners, are non-Swiss. So if you transform this to Bangladesh, this would mean 30 million living in Bangladesh are not Bangladeshi. So you see a little bit perspective that Switzerland has welcomed already a lot of foreigners.
So this is one of the areas you have touched upon, and you are also willing to working with Bangladesh with the migration issue. So what are the other important issues you are looking up for the coming days?
We have a close cooperation against violent extremism. Just 2 months ago, there was a summit on ministerial level, which was attended also by Bangladesh in Geneva, in Switzerland, which was discussing about possibilities to tackle violent extremism.
Okay.
It comes partly out of poverty, it comes out of isolation. So this can be an issue which can be approached on the political level, not only by Bangladesh and Switzerland, but on the multilateral level, involving as many countries as possible.
What do you mean by isolation? I mean, the reasons behind for rising violent extremism in different areas of the world.
If people are deprived of any hope to have a decent life, if they are not able to join the community, if they feel to be isolated and see no future, I think this is a ground to promote violent extremism. So, and we are all against violent extremism.
And what's your assessment about the situation in Bangladesh?
Bangladesh is economically a very prosperous country. It's really a growing economy. We all know that there were some recent incidents, and I'm convinced that with joint efforts, security and stability, which is a high priority for the people, can be tackled.
But in terms of poverty, in terms of, you already said that deprivation, abject poverty, sort of marginalization, and also what are the other factors in your view are important for overcoming or countering violent extremism in countries like Bangladesh?
I see the development. In the 70s, early 80s, Bangladesh was not able to feed its people. there were a poverty of over 50%. And if you look at this perspective, Bangladesh has done enormous, tremendous progress. I think it is the hope of the people to continue in this way, to have security, stability, economic progress, and this would be the best to assure the stability of the country.
So do you feel convinced that Bangladesh is in right way in terms of countering or dealing with all the pressing challenges, including violent extremism?
I'm sure that Bangladesh is on the right way in cooperation with its neighbor and with the international community.
Ambassador Christian Forge, we all know about Switzerland, this country of peace, this is country of tranquility, and people all over the world are looking at Switzerland about its development, its progress, its prosperity. So taking into account your experience in terms of democracy, in terms of freedom of expression, in terms of freedom of assembly, in how you see the situation in Bangladesh after experiencing in your tenure for 2 years?
Switzerland is a direct democracy, and for direct democracy it is extremely important to have freedom of expression, free electronic media, free press. Otherwise the people cannot participate in the political process. Okay. Freedom of expression is extremely important for accountability and transparency of the political system. This is valid also for Bangladesh. I'm strongly convinced that people have to be able to express their opinion, otherwise there is no political progress.
And in terms of democracy, political space, political activity in Bangladesh, and also the elections in 2014, which was held in January 5th, and soon after the elections you arrived in Bangladesh. So what improvement, what progress you have, Bangladesh have made so far in your view?
I arrived almost together with the elections of 2014, so I could observe the development very, very closely. Well, I'm really convinced that people want to participate in the political progress, and it is only possible to participate if they have reliable information, if they have a variety of possibility of channels, of newspapers, of sources to get the political information, and if they can know that transparency and accountability is assured. So in this sense, I see that the freedom of expression is sometimes challenged in Bangladesh, but it is still on the way that the people can form up their opinion.
We're almost to end our program. So what will be, or what are the top priorities from your side as an ambassador you will try to accomplish during your tenure? What are the other rest?
I would be very happy in the future also to speak frankly about the situation in Bangladesh, as we do it now in your program. Okay. I will have more time, maybe 1 or 2 years as ambassador here in Bangladesh. I would like to make Bangladesh better known in Switzerland. Bangladesh, for its potential, for its advantages, for its richness, is still too little known in Switzerland. This is one of my priorities. The second priority is to further enhance the presence of Swiss companies, of Swiss investment in Bangladesh, to enhance the economic exchange. Bangladesh is one of the few countries which has a positive trade balance with Switzerland. So okay. Bangladesh is exporting more to Switzerland than Switzerland to Bangladesh. I would like to change this a little bit, so to okay. promote Swiss exports to Bangladesh. And personally, I would like to do one more or few more trips to discover parts of Bangladesh I haven't seen yet, because I like the green countryside as much as I like the city capital Dhaka.
By this time, over the last 2 years, and definitely in the coming years, you will be traveling more and to see Bangladesh, definitely. But very frankly, what is the degree of knowledge of Swiss nationals about Bangladesh? How far they were aware about this country, about the progress, about the challenges, about the realities in Bangladesh?
Very frankly, all the countries, all the people know most about their neighbors. And Switzerland and Bangladesh are not neighbors. So Swiss people still know too little about Bangladesh. And I think this is a task of the embassy to make Bangladesh better known. If we speak about Asia in Switzerland, Swiss people think about China or India or Southeast Asia, but they think very little about Bangladesh. And this I would like to change.
And definitely Bangladeshi people, at least the affluent people, are willing to visit Switzerland. So what is the trend of awarding visa to the Bangladeshi nationals for visiting Switzerland?
Switzerland is very popular. There is a lot of cliché which is known, like the mountains or chocolate or watches. So I welcome to have more visitors to come to Switzerland. For the visa, Switzerland is a part of the Schengen system, so we apply the Schengen rules like all the other European countries which issue Schengen visa.
Is there any space for working visa for Bangladeshi nationals in Switzerland?
To be frankly, it's very difficult for working visa. It's very difficult.
Very
You need a specific qualification which you cannot find in Switzerland to get a working visa. So very frankly, it is difficult to find a job.
Honorable Ambassador, very last question is, you have a very long career in diplomatic assignments. You worked for President of Switzerland as his political diplomatic advisor, worked for your collaborator in different areas. You work for ICRC, ambassador at Slovakia from Switzerland. So, in your view, where the true potential lies for Bangladesh for moving ahead to overcome the pressing challenges for development and also in other areas?
I have a career of over 30 years, including International Red Cross and diplomatic service. I had two highlights in my professional career so far. One was, as you mentioned, to work for the President of Switzerland as his personal advisor, and the other one...
In first time in 1993 and second time is 2000.
Right. Yeah. And the second highlight is is to be ambassador in Bangladesh. You ask me what is the main element for Bangladesh to further develop and make progress. So it is the people of Bangladesh. It's the resilience, the wit, the intelligence, and the energy of the people I feel here. And so it's the people which will bring Bangladesh further on.
Is it mere rhetoric or really that everybody, I believe in you, but everybody is talking about Bangladesh is population dividend, as human resources, but the way they are moving, the pace of movement, is that satisfactory to reach or to become a middle income country or to become one of the top economies of the world, as World Bank or IMF or Goldman Sachs or PricewaterhouseCoopers, everybody is talking about good Bangladesh, but I mean, the way we are moving in terms of developing human resources, is that satisfactory?
It is satisfactory by view. Of course, the demographic dividend is the basis. You need, as we mentioned, you need the skills, you need the good organization, but the direction is the right one. I'm strongly convinced.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Honorable Ambassador of Switzerland to Bangladesh. Thank you so much. Dear viewers, we thank you indeed for watching this episode of Frankly Speaking. My guest was Christian Foch, Honorable Ambassador of Switzerland to Bangladesh. We invite you to watch our next episode. Until then, to take care and goodbye.